I just want to say rip Pudgy, and can I get an hour for the gravy train?
Ow, that was so
I don't even know
sad.
what
It was devastating news. But welcome back to the Collegiate Cast. I'm Colonel Mustard, also known as Raina.
I'm Detective Scarlet, also known as Amelia, and yes, this is a clue game, if you're kind of confused right now.
I'm Detective Green, also known as Paulina.
I'm Detective Peacock, a.k.a. Hannah the Great.
The Great.
Great.
Agreed.
I feel like I need a name now.
No.
I think we should get names.
We should get cool names.
Oh, no, we got you. Don't worry. Don't you fret.
Yeah.
Can I go
You
by
guys
Jarvis
are really
Buckingham?
cool.
That's always my name I go by.
Today, we are going to be investigating, getting deep and personal with Scooby-Doo and grilled steak. Also
Okay,
known...
I gotta be grilled steak, right?
No.
Grilled steak.
No!
Grilled steak.
I'm Scooby-Doo?
Also known as,
all right.
a little bit known as, like not many people know them as this, but Schubert and Valentin.
Shouldn't it be Shooby-Doo? Should be Shooby-Doo, right?
I think that's the proper one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, what do you teach?
I teach students. I teach young minds.
I'm asking
No,
like,
I teach.
subject.
Well, look, I teach college courses. I teach U.S. history. In the past, I've taught human geography, also a good subject. Sometimes. And let's see. I've taught journalism. I've taught debate. I've taught philosophy. I've taught European history. I've taught macroeconomics and microeconomics.
I wish I went first.
Regular. I've taught world geography. I taught world geography in another country. That was fun. And U.S. history in another country, which is strange.
And that was in the Middle East, right?
Yes, in the Kingdom of Bahrain and the Persian Gulf.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Valentin?
No, grilled steak. What you got? What you teaching for us?
My bad.
Steak.
If we're being honest, I've taught
I'm hungry
U.S.
now.
history. I teach Mexican American studies now, and then I teach AP Human, which is generally everything that people are getting fired for these days, right?
So, what is the most secret you've never told anybody?
What's a secret that you have not told the other?
If I'm being honest, every time I stand next to Schubert, I feel emasculated. By his pure mass.
Oh my god.
When we teach history, generally, patriarchy is what we're teaching at that point, right? Because history, right, is male-dominated, and I feel like Mr. Schubert embodies that. And when I stand next to him, a good half a foot shorter, a beard less fuller, his bench is significantly larger than mine. I like to think of myself as a strong man, but every time he bellows his laugh, I quiver in fear.
That menace.
Oh,
laugh.
don't be ridiculous. No, I'm sure you'd turn me into a pretzel if we ever had a wrestling match. We always imagine Jesus as being white, right?
Yeah.
Caucasian, Western European, but something of I don't know. I mean, we're looking for a Semitic appearance, right?
I think people think Jesus looks like you.
Yeah, we always imagine white and bearded.
Scooby-Doo is
Here's the
Jesus.
thing. Jesus probably is actually not very attractive. This is something we always imagine Jesus is like this attractive person. But look, I don't know why we assume that Jesus has to be beautiful. It's because we want people that we admire to be beautiful, I suppose. But wouldn't it make more sense if you're trying to represent all that is upside down about the world? Why would Jesus need to be beautiful?
Guys,
I'm being told to change topics.
Jesus aside.
yeah, we have a different question.
Jesus
Sorry,
is
I just taught the classical civilizations and classical religions in my world history class, so this is all very fresh on my mind.
No, we get it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
are
fair
you
enough.
are.
If you want to
wanting-
go back,
Awesome
what do you
speech.
have wrong with the
Awesome.
Roman Empire?
A few years later.
Are we done?
Yeah, should probably cut all that.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What is an animal that represents you?
Grizzly
Arrow?
bear.
An animal.
Animal.
Oh, an animal. I thought she said
Animal.
heirloom. I was like, I
Heirloom.
don't think I
Okay,
have any
yeah,
family
sorry,
heirlooms.
An animal that represents
Brokenness is my heirloom?
So we're anthropomorphizing animals so that we can then compare ourselves to an anthropomorphized version of the animal, right? Like, are we really like animals, or are we like what we imagine animals to be like?
I think the characteristic of the animal, Mr. Schubert,
But what characteristic of the animal are we identifying? The
you,
characteristic that
Mr.
we...
No,
Scooby-Doo.
characteristic and looks, I feel like both.
Mr.
Looks.
Scooby-Doo, you remind me of
I mean,
a
our,
honey
our
bear.
skeletal configuration is most similar to probably a pig.
Oh.
Yeah.
you said pig?
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like this is like the Patronus question. Like, what would your Patronus be, right? We're trying to get something about people's personality.
Probably a hyena, because I'm ugly and I laugh at everything. So
Wait,
You are not
I see
ugly,
it.
sir.
I mean, you can always hear me
I appreciate
cackling
your
about
laughs.
something in the background. So I mean,
No, I don't think that hyenas are like necessarily
Don't be so
ugly.
unkind to
I wouldn't
I
say.
do.
Yeah, there's
don't-
always like the
don't
worst
be
looking
so
hyena,
awful.
like the group of hyenas in The Lion King.
And he's
There's
the
always
worst
the
looking
worst-looking
one.
one, so-
Is that what you're trying to tell me? Mr.
No,
Grilled
I'm trying
Steak
to say
is the
there's
worst
like
one.
no really ugly hyena unless you're like the worst one.
And he's the worst one, basically.
No, I'm not saying that.
it's like being the ugliest person of the ugly group at school. So I mean,
Oh,
And you know who wins that prize?
yeah, that's you right now.
what was your animal again, Mr. Schubert?
Oh, I think I just deflected. I don't know. What if I have to pick an animal? I've always enjoyed otters. They're very entertaining.
I see that. They have their own rocks.
Aren't they super carnivorous?
Yeah, aren't
Yeah.
they really like?
Meat is
But
good.
their
Like,
cuteness
so
like
cute.
overpowers.
Delicious
like,
meat.
Isn't there a whole thing in the Penguins movie where like they try to escape a leopard seal or something?
Never seen the
that is
Penguins
like
movie.
super aggressive.
Okay,
This is a serious one.
we have
Serious.
we have to.
Well, all the rest of the questions.
I
weren't
need
serious?
you. No, I need you to be serious. I want you to open up
All right.
to me. You
All
can
right.
trust me because only I will be hearing this, so don't worry. What is your favorite pasta?
I think the go-to is there's a whole lasagna debate that I've heard about.
We love
So,
our pasta.
And who has the best favorite pasta? So
Are we talking about specific pasta, or are we talking about a
so
pasta
say the
dish?
shape, say the type,
I
say
mean,
the
can we
recipe
count
it's best
gnocchi?
in.
Because gnocchi, I think, is an excellent answer.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you gotta
that
say
is
like the
true.
sauce and the type of.
Oh, pesto, of course.
Pesto?
Pesto on gnocchi. Yeah, potato gnocchi.
Pesto.
Yeah, of course.
Do you like having dragon breath for the rest of the day? Is this like
Or you
oh,
can brush your
Dude,
teeth, which
basil is
obviously
so
you need to
good for
learn
you,
about.
though.
But I like lots of pasta.
I
Right,
guess
that's my point.
Alfredo from scratch with depends on what type of seafood. I like mullis and shrimp, preferably, fresh.
Shrimp
and
in Dallas, Texas.
Why everything so fresh? You so bougie, grilled steak.
and then probably handmade pasta, preferably fettuccine with
Have you
Alfredo.
made-
Oh my
Fresh.
god.
That's
Have
right.
you
Have
actually
you
like made it?
handmade
It's very
pasta?
hard to make.
No, it's
Yes, I have.
not.
If
I've
I'm
made
going
it.
to
It's
actually
very hard.
eat fettuccine, I'm not going to eat store-bought fettuccine like some savage. I'm going to make it
What?
myself.
Don't even hate because not everybody wants to do all that work.
Some poor people.
Clearly, you don't care what you put in your body, and I do.
It's literally
I actually definitely
Well, if you
do.
put it like that, you should become a
Yeah,
chef
but
instead of a
when you
teacher.
go home and both kids are upset and your wife's upset and suddenly it's your job to make dinner, sometimes
At
the
that
box
point,
pasta.
you ditch
yeah.
the
At that point,
kids.
it's
Kraft
takeout.
mac and
Yeah.
cheese.
Did I
That's
mention
right.
that I only make dishes for one when I do this? So,
All right.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Just keeping all the goodness to
I mean,
yourself.
keeping it back. Yeah, I used to really be into culinary stuff before when I was actually in school. So, what? Yes, that's why I do a lot of stuff from scratch. But no, I don't cook for my son because he
You
will
make shrimp.
ignore it, and then it just ends up Tupperware. So.
Yeah, the worst is when you've got a 6-year-old and they're sitting there and they're like, no, I do not want your handcrafted artisanal food. What I would like is macaroni and cheese out of the box with no sauce, just the hard macaroni. Come on.
So I'm
Is
guessing.
Spend
it-
an
is this
hour
an-
on this meal.
Is this an actual story, Mr.
Of course
Schubert?
it
That
is.
sounded
It is a real
personal.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh
when
my
my
goodness.
daughter was young, she would, she'd have sushi. She would have charcuterie boards. The things that my wife and I enjoy.
I love
But
those.
then she got a little bit older. She developed her own tastes, which apparently are eat cardboard. I don't know.
I've been actually wondering this for like a while. Do you guys actually have friends?
They have each other. That's enough.
See, this is the common belief of students that all teachers are actually robots. And that once they leave, we just power down. And then when they first arrive in the morning, we power back up again. We don't have a life outside of school.
Do you sleep
And
here?
they're right, but they'll never be able to prove it.
So, like, how many friends you got? Because I'm thinking 5 max for both combined. Not including the wife. Not
just
including the
2.5.
wife.
Yeah, like not wife for like kids. or
Not your
something.
wife, not your kids. Don't try to put
Like
that in
actual
there.
people.
Like,
Wow,
fellow
it's
peers
shots
that-
fired
Like
over
you
here.
be like
I
you
feel like they're
beat
just
them.
casting right over the bow.
Yeah.
Not friends from school, out of school friends.
Oh, so I can't include my students because I think I'm friends with all of them.
I'm your
400 friends and counting.
No. So what I'm hearing is y'all weren't able to answer
Yeah,
the
you're
question.
Yeah. Y'all are just dodging it right now.
I still regularly meet with a bunch of my friends from college, but they live all over the place, all around the world and the country. So we'll usually meet online. And we started that when I moved to Bahrain, because some of them graduated at the same time and they got jobs elsewhere, and some of them hadn't graduated yet. And so this was back when Skype was brand new, this cool thing where we could keep in touch all the time. So we'd play games together online, or just talk. And we still do that sometimes, different groups of friends from college. I've made friends, here at work, of course, some of whom still friends with even after they stop working here. Shall we shed a tear for the departed
Just sad music.
coworker?
Mr.
Yeah, so,
Dye.
Mr. Dye.
Mr.
I just went to the gym yesterday with Mr. Dye.
I got a text about that.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
text why I wasn't at the
Ooh,
gym.
Oh, yeah?
they-
Was he
y'all really
complaining?
left it.
Was he
Yeah.
complaining about the deadlifts?
I told him that I'm going to get mass gains next Thursday with you all. So.
Yeah. Oh, are you coming?
I cannot show up now because I was passive-aggressively texted late last night about how I didn't go to the gym. So
Yeah, he was complaining to me this morning. He's like, "Oh, my legs are so sore." So anyway,
I mean, have you seen his legs?
I
He
enjoyed
does a
being-
deadlift, so
He does now. So Mr. Dye, sure, but
So we got one. And then we got
Well, he has his friends from around.
I've
the
got my
world.
friends from college.
Okay,
I've got friends from other walks of life as well. It's tricky when you have kids. All of a sudden, friends who do not have kids have just a totally different life schedule, and so you almost have to find friends who also have kids so that you can share sort of the same pace of existence.
So you
yeah,
gotta-
let's get together for an hour, but no more because babysitters, blah 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 blah. Right, and so that's a part of it too. But yeah, certainly.
And you, Mr. Valentine?
Grilled steak?
Grilled
Grilled
steak.
steak? Got any
Grilled steak,
steak?
grilled steak.
excluding my best friend next to me.
So that's me?
No,
laughing
actually,
is no.
I actually do have a lot of friends because you guys know I train a lot. So a lot of the guys that I train with are mainly my age with kids. So
Sure,
we
right.
actually
Perfect.
hang out most of the weekends.
Yeah,
So
got a shared interest.
And then not only that, a lot of the people that I've trained with in college and in high school, we still play games with each other online.
Someday
Wow.
you'll convince me to play the same game, and then we can also be online gaming
Are we talking
friends.
about
Wait, hold up.
Crusader Kings? Are we,
He keeps trying to convince me.
Well,
keep
I don't know.
I feel
I
like
think
you would have
someday.
to take an hour to teach Mr. Schubert how to play a video game.
Oh, Mr.
Oh.
Scooby-Doo.
Why are you?
Oh, yeah, Scooby-Doo.
I'm gonna leave that
That was a
alone.
dig.
I'm gonna leave
Oh,
it.
oh no.
Estimating you don't
I have
know
a wide
him. You don't
diversity
know
of
what he's
interests,
capable
and
of.
all of them are computer games. No, I do play actually computer games.
No, he
I've never
plays
played
them.
console.
Give us like
but
a list.
I like games that have a historical component. So Assassin's Creed and
Coming from a history teacher,
and
would've
Red
never
Dead
guessed.
Online are both. They have a lot of historical accuracy. Obviously, they have lots of other things.
Wait, you're
Assassin's
saying
Creed
Assassin's Creed
is
has a lot of
filled with
historical accuracy?
strange conspiracy theories and
Black Ops
aliens and
3.
stuff. But Assassin's Creed has some really good, landscapes and really good representations of architecture that are pretty authentic, and they do a good job of always bringing in important historical figures, which is very entertaining. I've enjoyed those. I haven't played them all, but the ones that I have played, usually the main sort of entries in the series, I've played pretty thoroughly and enjoyed them.
Nice. Okay.
Minecraft?
My daughter is getting into Minecraft now. She's 6. My elder daughter, and
Starting
so
early.
she is telling me about all these things she's doing in Minecraft, and I never really got into Minecraft. So I gotta figure out how to start doing that with my daughter. Now my daughter and I play Bloons Tower Defense 6 sometimes,
what is
which I know is a great popular game for some of my students. So see. Now I'm being judged
No,
by the
grilled
flanked steak.
Speak your mind.
Grilled steak, sorry.
Yeah, we see
yeah.
you making faces
Yeah,
over there.
but it's a perfect
see that.
perfect tower defense game for my 6-year-old and I, right? They're little cute monkeys and they pop balloons. That's exactly what a 6-year-old girl should play, and probably not one of my history assassin games where they stab people. So
Yeah.
we don't play
Grilled
that
steak.
game together.
Grilled steak. What's
but
that
just
face
let
for?
it go. Just let it go.
What's that face for?
Nothing. That's a perfectly great game to play, Mr. Schubert.
What games do you play with your son?
Oh, we play Star Wars Legos.
Oh, sure.
I indoctrinate him very early.
Same principle.
I
Right?
indoctrinate him very early.
You're not gonna play Crusader Kings with him. That's not his speed yet.
All right,
Well,
guys.
he
this is
he
not
knows
a
it as the map
competition.
game.
Sure,
He doesn't
right,
know the
exactly.
background
Exactly.
of Crusader Kings and how I had to assassin my way to the top.
Right. Exactly.
He actually goes hunting a lot with my father-in-law, so he's really into this hunting game that takes a whole long while to shoot one deer. And he's like, "We need to get 6 before you play any other game on here." So
My daughter enjoys hunting in Red Dead Online. I have done that with her.
Oh, he does like
sometimes,
that. Yeah, I started doing that.
Yeah.
Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
He definitely likes that.
Go
We sell
hunt
a
the
lot of pelts.
bison and sell all the pelts. That's right.
So, put aside the patriarchy, what are your biggest fears? Kind of deep, But
This is an actual genuine
But yeah.
genuine. Come on now.
Genuine.
Oh, you want a real answer?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
yeah.
How real you want it?
Like make me
Like
cry.
Failure.
No,
Like
but
you're
like-
talking about like True Life
No, but
MTV or like
No, but like Scooby, grilled steak. I want that rawness in the steak. Come on now.
Like-
Be open with
like
me.
you want
Be
that
authentic.
medium rare still mooing on the plate? Really?
No, I want
Like
that. I want
like
that
the
blue
terrifying
steak, blue
flashback.
steak.
Blue
kind of
steak.
thing.
It'd been on the grill for like 2 seconds, and you cut it. Boom. That's what I want.
My fear is never being as great as Mr. Schubert.
I said put away the competition.
No.
I literally just said put away the competition, and look at you.
Put away competition.
But hey,
You know what would be the worst? Single parenting. That's like those people. They're heroes. Like that's hard. That would scare me. People who have, and it's, maybe some of you know people, or you are know, maybe your parents are in this situation where you have one surviving parent. I don't know how I would do that. My grandmother passed away of cancer when I was 6 months old, and my mother at that point had just gotten married a couple of years earlier. I had just been born, but her younger sisters were all still back at home, but they were teenagers. But still, I talk to my grandfather sometimes about that and how hard that was. The idea of trying to raise children alone, that's a real fear.
That's scary.
That's scary. That's and I know people succeed at it and they do it so well, and I don't know how they do it. So that's the thing I'm scared of.
That was really good.
Well, you want a real fear. There you
Yeah.
go.
that is a genuine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My wife works nights, so I'm a single parent most of the day anyway. So I'm just like,
All right,
wow.
you're the person I admire already.
No.
I only have one. I only have one child. He's a boy.
Romance.
So I mean, it's really that easy.
Oh yeah, sure, easy.
Yeah, you have 2 girls. I would
No.
be terrified if I had 2 girls as a single parent.
So,
So that's what he's afraid of. Girls.
Yeah, Mr.
We now know
Grilled
the truth.
Steaks is just
Because
Afraid of
afraid
girls.
of women.
I know
said
I'll be
put away
weak
the
with it. If
patriarchy.
I had a girl,
Yes.
she would have me wrapped around her finger, and that's what I'm terrified of.
Nope.
Yeah, buy me.
No,
It's
my
fine.
daughters will never. They're doomed to deal with my ironclad will.
You barely just let your daughter play Minecraft. You like
Okay,
had a
well, maybe
discussion
not that
about
ironclad.
that. How was your guys' childhood? Because from my perspective, y'all had very different ones. Tell me all the childhood trauma.
The childhood
Drama.
First of all, my mom was never the disciplinarian. She was just always the one that yelled at me for not doing anything.
No shame.
There was no La Chancla.
No, that was my abuelita, and it wasn't a chancla. It was a broom because I was too fast,
All right,
so she had to
all
reach
right.
with
You were
it.
too
And
fast.
it was never the stick. It was always the part that hit the ground. So yeah, a lot of dust in the face.
My-
That's even worse.
My father was the youngest of 9, and he went to a Catholic school. And he is left-handed. The nuns in the Catholic school would beat him with metal rulers to not use his left hand. And when that didn't work, they would bring in the janitor so they could hit him harder so that he would stop using his left hand to write with. And he swore he would never do that sort of thing. And so growing up, I didn't get beaten. That wasn't a feature. My father would get disappointed with me. And
And that
somehow
hurts.
that
That's
hurts a
disappointing.
lot.
That hurts
Right?
me
Yeah.
most.
So, and I've always thought that maybe that's something that I can bring to the classroom, right? When you've got students,
Wait,
I don't need to hit
disappointment?
anybody.
Good.
Because the reality is, your disappointment and communicating disappointment, that matters too, right? You want somebody to do well, and if you're disappointed, you don't have to hit them to show that. You can just tell them, look, I want you to be better.
I'm glad you don't approve of hitting your students.
No, I certainly don't.
Funny thing is, Miss Schubert, my mom went to Catholic school and she was left-handed. So similar stories.
All right, well, there you go.
I'm
They had
left-handed.
similar stories.
Yeah. We're
different
twins.
She
takeaways.
Twins
talks
in the
about the
end.
devil's hand, and that's why
Except
she's...
I'm only 5'2".
I mean, you are only
Yeah.
5'2". I'm the more masculine man here. Now.
Obviously.
Okay.
You seem very obsessed about this.
I mean, I'll give you the cliff notes of my childhood. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was very athletic oriented as a kid. What?
That's
Oh,
personal.
you don't happen to be a coach right now.
Do you?
So my dad put me in football when I was in kindergarten because I was a big kid. So brain trauma happened early on.
Ooh, we can tell.
Yeah. So he trained my sister and I. She was a professional athlete, so living up to that expectation. We trained all year round. That's fun stuff. This is before cell phones came out. I tell my kids this story. My dad used to make us run miles around our neighborhood, but the thing is we had to call him as he timed us before we run the mile. So we run inside, call him on the dial phone. Hey, I'm running my mile right now. And then run around the neighborhood and then call him back. Hey, I'm done with my mile. And he's like, that's too slow. But you have to understand the time it took to run up the stairs to call him and run down the stairs and outside. So at one point in time when we really got lazy, we just decided to really act out of breath when we called him so we would have faster mile time so we wouldn't have to run again.
That's exactly what I would have done.
So you'd be like, hey, Dad, I run the mile. What's my time? He's like, 10 minutes, 12 seconds. To be honest, it was always sports came first in my household. But then one day I did actually have a failing grade, and then he taught me how to be really poor, even though if you guys don't know what variety lunch meat is, yeah, that's what we did at Aldi's. Don't eat the pickle bologna. But he took away all of my clothes one time. He's like, if you want to act poor, then be poor. And so I had to wear like 2 pairs of clothes for like 2 months at school. So fun stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
Honestly.
She's better.
Speaking about your wife, you like her, you have a little crush on her. Tell us.
Well, duh, they got married.
You have a
Tell us
license.
about your wife.
You have a license for liking her.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, technically,
There's witnesses and everything. Signed.
I am
You're like-
bound by the state to her.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So basic story, I guess. You want to know how I met my wife story,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's what they wanted. They didn't want to hear my preaching.
No, we don't want to hear
Yeah,
about
get out of here with you and your ideas.
So this is always a funny story because it ends funny.
What?
So she was taking a history 1302 class, 1302. But I was the research assistant for the professor, and she came by asking questions on a test. And I'm outside doing my thing on my laptop. She comes up, and I was like, oh, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, you
I was
did
like,
that.
you think I wouldn't? I'm like, oh, how you doing? You know, like, what's your number? No, I was like, oh, you here to see Dr. Koss, whatever.
There's
What
no
can I
way
help
you were
with?
that smooth.
No way.
There's
No way. It's more like
I'm asking her
You're
next
like-
time.
You are not
Hello,
Joey
ma'am.
Sirianni.
I'm asking.
I'm only giving you the Cliff Note version because there's a whole nother
See,
version.
now he starts qualifying.
So I'm like, what are you here for? So I was like, I'm thinking I'm going to be smooth. And she's like, this question on something about economics during the Reagan era. And I'm like, oh.
Economics, who?
So I was like,
ever?
I was trying to BS my way through because I didn't want to explain. I was like, supply and demand, blah, 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 blah. And the professor comes in and she's like, hey, Tito was helping me. He told me this is the question to the end. She's like, don't listen to Tito. Come in the office. And I was like, I'm going to sit here and continue my research on Lord Dunraven. And then after she left, I actually said this. It was dumb. I was like, hey, Kristen, can I have your number? And she's like, oh, yeah, totally. I text her that night. You know what she hits me with? Who dis? I was like, oh, it's Tito from class. And she hit me with a question mark.
Oh, who's that again?
Because my professor called me Juan, which, you know, I don't go by that. And I was like, oh, it's Juan. She's like, oh, hey.
But that's
And
kind
then
of
first date, I tried to kiss her goodnight, and she swerved my kiss, and I got a cheek. There you go. That is the story of me and my wife. Now we have a son together, and we, live together in the state, has access to half my assets. But,
Wow.
You guys are-
Wow, you really sucked the romance out of that one.
Mr. Schubert.
Oh,
Love
tell
her
us
very
about
much.
your wife meeting story.
My wife meeting story.
How you saw the
That was
woman.
badly worded.
That
You
is
were like,
that is
yes.
the best label. I'm gonna put that in a picture book.
Okay, well, you got the point. Okay.
Yeah, wife meeting story. So I was debate partners with my wife in high school. We weren't married at the time. We weren't dating at
Enemies
the
to
time,
lovers.
but we were debating as a team, cross-examination debate. And I was told afterwards, I'm an oblivious boy apparently, that she had a crush on me in high school when we were debate partners, which I was not aware of. We both ended up going to the same college. It was not, like my plan. I didn't follow her to college. She didn't follow me to college. She chose the college first. I also chose the same college, so we were going to college at the same time. We started dating end of sophomore, beginning of junior year of college, I guess.
How'd you get
Something
to
like
that point where you
This
just
is like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, it's true. And then we got engaged over the summer between junior and senior year. We were on a senior trip to Turkey, so we were spending the month traveling around Roman ruins and Greek ruins in Turkey, as classicists should, which was what the honors program did. We were both in the honors program in college. And as we were traveling around and looking at the different ruins and whatnot, and then in Constantinople, I went into the bazaar, the Grand Bazaar there, and found myself a good deal on an engagement ring. And then we went on a walk, just the two of us, in front of the Hagia Sophia, which is the grand church in Constantinople before it became Istanbul. I proposed there in front of the church. Yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
So what an old
That sounds like a very traditional, like, romantic story. Mine's like regular modern day.
dis?
Hey, yo, who this?
And as it turns out, high school's not when we met, because then
Elementary
going
school?
through the picture books, turns out we were both on the same school field trip in the 4th grade, because there's photographic evidence that we were both there. So we don't remember that. We don't remember that the other person was there, but
Wow, that
yeah.
sounds,
So
that
we've
sounds
technically
a lot
known
like
each other a
fate.
very long time.
That's like a movie.
We grew up in like neighboring towns.
Okay, so they were gonna ask a question about the Schubert.
What are
Shoe bucks.
Yeah.
So I feel like these have disappeared into myth and legend, which is fine. But once upon a time, there was an English teacher named Mr. Dye,
That was so
and
long ago.
he created a form of currency. He engaged in his own minting of shoe bucks, which he thought would be hilarious, and then they became this amusing phenomenon. And they were used in one of our sort of end of year, beginning of the next year orientation, new student introduction events. They were used as the currency for that event. Like you could get shoe bucks for doing different things, and then I signed some of them, I guess. And
Yeah, they're
apparently
black
they're
market
worth more,
celebrity.
and so you can find market value for
No,
signed.
it's a black
versus
market
unsigned. Yeah,
economy.
it's a black market economy. So that's a thing. Apparently, shoe bucks are a thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Shoebucks to calf cash, I think it's 20-1 right now.
Is it 20-1 calf cash to shoe
Stocks
bucks?
and
I
shoe bucks.
inflated the market really early on.
Did
I
you?
shouldn't
All
have.
the
right.
market.
Yeah. Well,
So are they ever going to come back is my question.
should they? I'm sure I could.
I don't think you should bring them back. I like
Yeah,
I like
you,
the
you
mystery
like that
behind
they're
it.
Okay.
Because when they do come up, it's like seeing old.
I mean, everything fades to memory eventually in a high school, right? This is my 7th year here at Collegiate Academy. Collegiate Academy was started 8 years ago, and I started when they added a sophomore class. I was hired as a sophomore teacher. So I've been here long enough. There's stuff that happened 7 years ago that nobody remembers, right? It's me, Mr. Kavanaugh, Miss Knutz, Miss Haney. I think that's it. That's the only people that were here at that point in time. And so I don't know. Stuff changes.
The cult that Mr. Valentin so briefly brought up earlier. What about it? Is it still here?
You mean
Is
the
it
Schubert
there?
fan club?
The fan club?
Yeah,
Your
at
love-
one point there were posters and there was a membership, but these things come and go.
A membership?
Is that like
that was
a
I don't
idea
know.
pay
popular
monthly?
one. That's the thing.
Yeah, it
the
was.
Schubert fan club.
Yeah, years ago. I think COVID really intervened in some of this. Now the cult has gone underground.
Yeah, I know about underground one too.
Should
Oh,
we
but who's members? Spill the beans. We can cut them out, but I want to know.
cut them out?
Honestly, at this point, we're just figureheads.
I mean, the story has grown beyond the reality that is one or another of us.
What's your deal with overthrowing the government? Like
Overthrowing? I don't want to overthrow the government.
Between
You hear that,
flamethrowers?
FBI? I do not want to overthrow.
Flamethrowers.
Between flamethrowers, overthrowing, I feel like I've missed a whole long
Yeah.
part of your class, and we share a door together.
Yeah,
So this is what
no,
I'm
I'm
wondering.
not. No, what? Overthrow the government?
No, we
I
won't.
don't
We
know.
won't. We won't.
I
we
teach
won't-
revolutions as a part of all of my different history courses.
So, are you looking for a revolution of yourself?
I don't think so. No,
No?
but it's something that I teach and I talk about, and I think because it captures the imagination, it captures the imagination of students. Right? I talk about a revolution. I talk about how to conduct a revolution, or how to succeed at one, or why one succeeds or fails. That's interesting. It's interesting stuff in class. But no, I don't want to start a revolution. That sounds like work.
Brett, do you know
Yeah.
who Salty Bolts is? We need to know now. They
so
always comment.
Is this because I'm in the know of everything?
No,
is that
because
what?
you're definitely them.
We're talking about Solvay.
You.
The famous.
You're avoiding
Chef.
the question here. You
I
gotta
don't
answer.
know who
No,
that
look
is.
at me. Look at me in my eyes.
I honestly don't know.
Look at me in my eyes right
I'm
now.
looking you in your eyes right now.
No, you're
Who
not.
is that?
You're shivering. Oh, it's you.
This is
You're
weird.
salty.
You're very nervous
I'm
here.
so
do you
confused.
know like the answer?
Why are they asking
who is
us?
His name?
Salty
Bolts.
Okay, I'm just kind of laughing at the delivery of this fake name.
No.
First of all,
it's
I no.
this person comments on it. Who has the lasagna? Where's the lasagna? Where's the lasagna? And then what do you ask us? Where's the lasagna? Salty bolts.
Oh, are you
Care
talking
to
about
add?
your YouTube?
Care
That's what
to
it
add
says.
to the conversation.
I guess it's people who comment on their YouTube videos. Is that who it is?
It's you commenting on our YouTube
I promise
videos.
you it's not me.
It's
Do they
Your
have
secret
YouTube videos?
identity.
Your
No,
wife
they post
and your
this to their
child.
YouTube channel.
Ah.
See?
which you should follow if you aren't already.
No,
At Collegiate
so
Academy.
I'm more than certain that could be a Schubert question. It sounds like somebody from the computer club would be
Computer,
posting
you're
to your comments.
If you're salty bolts, thanks for being an avid fan.
I feel like you
Make
really,
sure
you
to
guys
like.
really thought it was me, and you really tried to.
Yeah, we
accuse
know
me.
we really did.
I feel like that was the
You-
biggest
you're
bomb
just
you guys
sweating
like,
over
dropped.
here.
It is you. It's definitely you.
I'll be honest.
It's okay. They'll edit it. You know, by the time it comes out, it'll be, "Are you Salty Bolts?" What? No. They'll have a very convincing.
That's
yeah.
how
yeah.
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
'cause
Like
it
all of
is
them
you.
kind of enclosed me like a bunch of raptors.
That's who we are. Okay, whatever, grilled steak.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
should I say
Okay.
salty bolts?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
No.
So any
Well,
other
he
question?
can't.
I don't know who this person is,
No,
but
but you
all
do.
right.
Well, I have a feeling that your next podcast, whenever it's released,
This is gonna
will
be the highest
very
views.
worth listening to.
Yeah.
You're about to get
I'm excited
sponsors from
about
this.
that.
Maybe-
I actually think it will
Yeah.
get pretty famous.
Maybe you guys should take a tip. Take some notes from Salty Bolts. You know, they always listen to us. They comment.
You
know,
seem really
but
negative in the
This is
beginning.
really
though.
self-absorbed.
well, because
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
you, and you have a little negative. But
I don't know.
Now that I know Salty Bolts isn't you, or now that I quote unquote know, wink wink.
Mr. Grilled
Are
Steak.
we speaking of carbs?
Girl,
Maybe also Potato Killer.
What are these questions?
Okay, so I assume you're talking about my son Elias, and I have him present in front of us right now. If you cannot see him, he is slightly decrepit.
Broken.
First of all, potatoes don't live long lives when they get stuck in the mud. I don't know if you know this. It's disgusting. This is the mascot from inaugural Valentine's year. This is Elias. He is.
So-
He's kind of handsome.
He is.
wait,
Very,
Right?
very
He-
floral.
and that's when we
Like the
say beauty is
flowers.
objective, because I do not.
I'm telling you right now,
And I don't have my
Elias
glasses on, everybody.
was the king. He was the king of Callan Bean. You not remember this? Oh no, you don't because you're not
And
sophisticated.
they
enough.
say I have a cult.
Elias is the cult.
I believe your producers know this of the cult of the bean, or Callan Bean is what we called him. Yeah, he ruled the kingdom of Elias, and he's still alive for today. Little decrepit, little old, as all kings do. They do get old.
Is that like an actual potato?
Yes, he actually was an actual potato. But
Is
as
it
all things, they
shriveled?
get shriveled and decrepit. Have you not seen old people? They all kind of.
Actually a potato. Is that why your room smells?
No, I don't think so.
Elios is just letting
No,
out
it's
that
not the
BO.
shriveled potatoes in the
I
room.
think it's the
Or
stinky
is it?
kids.
No.
Like
He used to have pencils,
Oh.
but as arms, but they broke off as he got more shriveled.
Oh, that's kind
Oh
of
my
sad.
God. So
Why
how
am I
old is
crying?
Elios?
About 3 years, right? I'll talk to your producers. About 3 years, yes. I mean, if you want to hold my son,
Right now, we are holding the son of Valentine. Here, wait, can you hear
This
him?
is so weird.
Let him talk.
Don't touch him to the mic.
I'm not. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Pass it back.
thank you.
Okay, salty bolts.
We know
Okay,
it's you.
salty bolts. Since you cared to hide that so well, we know it's you.
I guarantee it's not me, but all right.
So, what's the add to the Twitch, salty bolts? Because we searched up salty bolts and nothing came up.
Because I'm not that person.
You
That
are.
would make no sense.
You are salty bolts.
But not saying that we like looked it up or anything. We're just
Not
saying
saying-
that it just didn't come up on.
Not
we
that we're
searched for it.
saying, what's it called? We searched up salty bolts, Mr.
That would-
Valentine.
like,
Valentine,
honestly, if I was
Tito.
trying to hide something, why would I use such a terrible name?
Oh,
Don't
shots
offend
fired.
salty
First of all,
bolts.
and then I would use it for a Twitch channel as well. Like, Talk about paper trails. That's not even thought through.
I mean, we didn't expect much more from you.
Are you talking about my mythical Twitch channel that everyone talks about?
Yes, we are talking about your.
How do you know if it's even real or not? How do you know I'm not just stringing you guys along for 3 years?
It's called Hope and Desire. Okay.
Many years ago, Mr. Kavanaugh had a YouTube channel that students discovered. He had made a couple of videos when he was in high school or college, I think, and somebody found it, and then he quickly went and deleted it. So,
I mean, there was a
There's always the
bounty
possibility, I
freshman
suppose.
year when the students believed in this Twitch channel. It was roughly, what, $100, correct? Yeah, there was flyers. Have you seen Valentin's Twitch? So, this mythical Twitch channel, it may be, it may not be. I don't know.
But
Maybe I'm
students
stringing you
almost found
along.
it. Students almost found it, right?
I mean, that's the story that I
Didn't you have
said,
to,
isn't it?
Delete it because they were so close to finding it?
How do you delete something that never existed?
But it did exist, and you're just trying to hide the fact.
How do you prove a negative?
Exactly.
How do you delete a fake channel? When we find evidence, you guys will be coming back on the podcast, and we're gonna out you. We're gonna out you.
You've
For
already been.
what?
You know what?
When we find
haven't-
evidence.
Well, for lying, I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
For
we
lying?
see-
Yeah. Who knows? You could be
What's up?
salty bolts.
No, you
You never
are.
said no. You
salty
are.
ball.
Okay, so can I at least get receipts on what he said to see if that's even like
Yeah.
what is being
You
said? Did you
pull
say
it up.
lasagna a bunch of times?
No.
I feel like I'm more
it's
I'm
funny.
I'm better a comedian than just saying lasagna over and over again.
It's funny because you actually said his exact words earlier in the podcast. Oh, where's the lasagna? And you said that.
Did I
you
say
said that.
words?
Yes, you
I
did.
feel like we could
Yeah,
play this back
Alejandro
later.
shaking his head yes, and I trust Alejandro. We all hope you heard some very helpful insights and got to learn very fun things about Mr. Grilled Steak and Schooby Doob. It was very fun talking to you more than we normally do, because normally we're like educational or whatever. We got to see your personal life.
They don't listen in class. That's what I
No.
just heard.
We actually
that's
listened to
exactly
you.
what I'm hearing.
Listening,
Yeah.
but I think this was the most fun episode, though.
Our promotion for this episode, make sure
what's
to go
happening?
donate to Mr. Valentin's Twitch channel, which is...
Non-existent.
Say the at. Come on now.
It's all a fabrication, and you guys all believe everything I say.
Okay, well, we're just...
Conspiracy theories.
Oh my god, bro, he just said it. Bleep it out, guys. Bleep it out. That's so weird.
I'm gonna create a stream channel, and I'm just gonna call it Schooby Doo.
As you should.
All I'm gonna do is play Minecraft in tower defense.
Alrighty, well, okay. That's all we had.
Would you like to say any last words? Sorry, that
Last
sounded
word.
pretty.
Your final...
I think we ran out of words somewhere 40 minutes of salty bolts ago.
Okay, if we have time.
Call out to my boy Julius Caesar. Look out for them daggers.
Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast. This was really fun.
I'm
This was
glad.
actually
That
really
was so...
fun.
Yeah, it was
No,
a
I really think so.
enlightening experience.
Yeah, I think it's all the accusations and the conspiracy theories. I now have sort of a new window into my students' minds. They're just deeply, deeply suspicious of everything. And they build up this mind palace.
We're very creative, as you
Yeah,
Yeah, they
creative.
are really-
That's a nice way to put it.
Last thing, if you do your reading challenge, please subscribe and put your page down for Fearless Embers. Fearless Embers, everyone.
Wait, was that
Don't
last
cut out my mic now, Alejandro.
Okay, yay! Everybody clap.